Hey guys. Okay, so somebody asked about trust, so I'm going to hit that one next. Trust is a huge topic, so again, just going to try and keep it to 5 minutes, respect your time. First of all, let's cover what trust is not. Trust is not permission for people to violate your boundaries, to hurt you, to abuse you. That's not what trust is. And so a lot of times people, myself included, have had difficulty with trust because it's like, well, if I trust them, then I just have to let them in. No, you don't. Trust does come with boundaries. You can exercise those at any time. What trust is assuming that the other person or the entity that is receiving of your trust, assuming that you assume that they have your best interest at heart. So what does that mean? What does that look like? When I started building trust, I prayed about it a lot. And I was like, I just have no ability to trust. And God was like, can you trust me for an hour? I'm like, okay. Excuse me, I just ate, by the way. He was like, can you trust me for an hour? And I said, okay, I can try. And then it was, can you trust me for 2 hours? Can you trust me for a day? Can you trust me for, a day turned into 3 days? And then, and I could do it for that long, but I had to learn with little baby steps of how to trust for an hour. So what does that actually mean, right? Trust, that it's still a big thing. And I say, okay, trust, but what does that actually look like? So what that means is trust is, number one, assuming that the person you're giving your trust to has your best interest at heart. That does not mean they won't fail you. It does not mean they won't screw up. It just means they won't do it intentionally. Okay? So it starts with that assumption. Then it goes to giving someone the benefit of the doubt. So when you're in a situation and you don't understand what's going on and you feel like maybe someone has failed you somehow, but you don't actually have any proof or any, actual facts or information, rather than going to that place, that dark place of like assuming the worst, it's a choice to give somebody the benefit of the doubt and assume the best until you know differently. And so again, what does that practically look like? Well, with God, for me, it was, I always had things that I was worried about and, always thinking about a million different things of, oh, well, how is this going to happen? And what's going to happen here? And I don't know. And and worry. And he was like, okay, can you just put that on a shelf for an hour and just assume that I have it under control and that I have your best interest at heart and give me the benefit of the doubt, even though you don't see what I'm doing and you don't know how I'm operating? Can you just assume those two things for 1 hour and just hand it over, put it on the shelf for 1 hour? And so it was doing that for an hour. And then I learned how to let it go for 2 hours at a time. And I mean, this is real practical, brass tacks, basic stuff, guys. But I never learned it. And so I didn't learn it until I was 25. And so I had to start with God before I could even start with people and just build some trust there that, okay, at least I've got him on my side. So now I can open up to people a little bit more. That's just kind of the way that it went for me. So what does that look like practically in relationship with another person? Well, I'm going to use an example we ladies can all relate to, and that is dealing with a man. So, let's say you're in a relationship and you've texted or you've called somebody and you're like, hey, you want to do this? Or, can we get together this day or whatnot? And, you don't hear back and you don't hear back and you don't hear back. And, 3 hours goes by, 10 hours goes by, and you haven't heard from this person, right? Well, those of us like myself, and I think a lot of us women go into crazy control mode of like, excuse me, where are you? Why aren't you answering me? And what happens is that we've gone into the worst case scenario. Why isn't he calling me back? We're being suspicious. And like, we've gone into fear mode of he's doing something inappropriate. Rather than saying to ourselves, well, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's busy. Maybe he hasn't even read the text. Maybe he hasn't heard the message. Maybe his phone died while he was out fishing. He's not even back yet. He hasn't been able to charge the phone. We don't know. Assume the best. Assume best case scenario rather than worst case scenario. And that's what trust is giving that to somebody. And, you know, if they violate it, they violate it. And that's a different process that you have to walk through. But trust is that process of, okay, well, I don't have an answer and I don't really know what's going on and I haven't heard from you. And I have a suspicion that this is going on, but I don't actually have proof. So I'm going to choose to believe it's the best case scenario rather than the worst. So that's kind of a basic brass tacks, bottom line trust thing. I do want to say, side note with men, by the way, they don't operate that we do in our brains. So when we ask them, hey, can you do this? And then we don't hear from them, it's because they don't operate like we do as women, where we as women would be like, hey, yeah, I'd love to do that. I don't know. I've got some other things going on. I'll get back to you. That is happening with them. It's just internal, and they don't share that because they don't communicate the way we do. So they wait until they actually have a yes or no answer, and they figure out their schedule and talk to their friends and their work and whatever before they give you an answer, and they don't let you in on anything. So 24 hours might go by before they tell you anything. It's not malicious. It's just man brain. So that one's for free. Okay, it took me a long time to learn that one, by the way. Anyways, I hope that helps. Megan, let me know what you think of this, and love your feedback. Talk to you later. Bye, ladies.